Where'd the summer go? It's almost gone. Well, it's the end of July. I mean, we've got a couple more weeks left, right? But before they head back to school, there's things you got to consider.
Yeah, among all of the exciting things, right? Going shopping for the clothes and the supplies, there's something no one looks forward to. The potential for head lice.
I'm itching already.
Right.
Here to guide us through this conversation, Dr. Christina Kim. She's a pediatrician with OneWorld Community Health Centers. Good to see you, Doctor.
Nice to have you here.
All right, so this is a fun topic, isn't it?
Yes.
I feel like I'm a professional in this case. I'm not going to tell you which kid of mine, but that child of mine has had it twice. And when you first get that indication that they may have it, like the worst thing goes through your mind because you're like, it takes so much time to get rid of this. So tell us about lice. What is it and what do they look like?
So head lice, they're tiny little insects. They are about the size of a sesame seed. They are found on the head, on the human head, and they survive and live by feeding on tiny amounts of blood from the scalp. So they're just on the humans. And they are a common complaint in the pediatrician's office.
I think we have a couple of images so that our viewers can, and if you're eating breakfast, our apologies,
They're
but this
not
is one of those
that bad.
Well, some people are going to get
Just a
grossed out by
little
it. But Mike, you know, this is a necessary evil. You have to talk about this. If you really want to talk about treatment, get real about prevention, and hopefully we can touch on some of those things.
In our case, our kid got them from school. So where is that the most common place where kids get them, or what do you think?
It can be really anywhere. It affects children of all ages, from babies to adults, actually. So because children are close together in school, that's probably the reason why your child had it, and it's very common. It is spread only by crawling. So the head lice, they can only crawl. They don't fly, they don't hop, they don't jump. I know people are afraid of being close to one another because they feel like they're going to all get head lice, but really because it's a crawling insect, you need to be really, it has to be like direct head-to-head contact.
So prevention is it, I remember my mom always saying not to use somebody else's hairbrush, or, you know, you're looking for a band to pull your hair back. She'd always say, only use your stuff.
Right. Especially if you know that there's been an outbreak of head lice.
Are there any other ways to prevent it?
Just educating your children about head lice and avoiding direct head-to-head contact.
And that's it.
If you don't handle the issue fairly soon, it can become a bigger problem.
Right, because they multiply pretty quickly.
So spotting lice is important right away.
Yes.
So what are the symptoms? What should you look for?
Okay, so children usually complain about itching sensation, and especially behind the ears and at the hairline behind the neck. I know you're already feeling like you're itchy.
She laughed because I had an itch.
Hair going?
I had an itch.
They can say that they feel like a tickling, crawling sensation on their head. The diagnosis is best made by actually looking for lice. It is difficult because they're very small. They move very quickly, and you know, they try to avoid the light. So you want to sit a child in a well-lit room. Go through small sections of their hair with a special fine-tooth comb, and then look for any live lice or even nits. They're eggs laid by the lice.
And that brings us to this picture.
Right. So they're really tiny, oval-shaped. They look like just little dots, and you just want to be careful because, you know, there can be dandruff or, you know, residue from hairspray and things like that. But with nits, they're firmly attached to the hair shaft, so they wouldn't move if you shook it off like dandruff
and
would.
that's how you can distinguish between residue and the eggs.
And that's the tedious part of this treatment process.
Right, it's a time-consuming.
I will tell you, time-consuming doesn't do it justice. I mean, it'll take a whole evening. We were up till 3 in the morning one night. So you take these little fine-tooth combs, right? And you've got to get all the way down to the base, right next to the scalp.
Right.
And each blade of hair you essentially have to comb through.
Because the lice, you know, they survive on feeding off of the blood from the scalp, and then the nits, they hatch when they're close to the scalp because they need that warm temperature. So you do need to go pretty close to the scalp and then brush it.
So in terms of treatment, there are some products we see in the pharmacies.
Good news,
what do you say?
Right, there is good news in all this.
The good news is that there are over-the-counter medications. So it's pretty easy to find. You can ask the pharmacist if you need help, or you can ask your healthcare provider. But there are over-the-counter treatment, and a lot of times a second treatment may be needed about 7 to 10 days after for any remaining lice on the head.
And then at what point can the kids go back to school once you say, okay, well, we know we've got them, now what?
Right, that's a common question. So the general recommendation is that kids should not be missing schools because of head lice. Like I said, they do need direct head-to-head contact. So with kids who have head lice, they can finish the day off, at school, and then go home, get treated, and return the next day.
OneWorld Health, is this anything that you would want to take your kid to the doctor for, or maybe to your clinics to get checked out, or how does that work?
We would be happy to see any parents who are concerned that their children may have lice, because you don't want to just treat it without knowing for sure that they have an active lice infestation.
We have covered so many topics with OneWorld on this show, and I thought I understood what you were about, access and care for kids, for adults. But it really has been eye-opening, this entire series. So I'm glad you were able to come on and join us with such a timely topic, as we are now about 3 weeks away. And I think Millard's going back a bit earlier than some of the other districts in the area. But this is going to be something that's going to happen for a lot of kids. So it's just about prevention where possible, getting to a treatment early. And if you have any questions for Dr. Kim or anyone at OneWorld, call 734-4110 or log on to the website there.
All right, Doctor, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
How many people at home have been scratching their heads?
All
right, thanks a lot.
It's funny to see you do it.
I know, yeah. Guests of the Morning Blend start their day with coffee from Pears Gourmet, the official coffee of the Morning Blend. Learn more online at omahamorningblend.com. Still ahead this morning, live music. The Prairie Gators have taken over, where you can see them for yourself tonight.
First, how the Village Point Farmers Market is kicking things up a notch or two tomorrow.